He carried more water than anyone else, but his bucket was always empty. In a desert village where water was precious and had to be carried from a distant well, two brothers worked as water carriers. Both made the same number of trips. Both worked equally hard. Both filled their buckets the same amount. But at the end of each week, one brother had water stored for his family while the other had nothing and was always thirsty. The difference? One brother's bucket had a hole, and he never bothered to fix it. The first brother's name was Adil. Adil worked incredibly hard. Every morning, he'd walk to the well, fill his bucket completely, and carry it back to the village. He'd make 5 trips a day, more trips than most water carriers. People would see Adil walking with his full bucket and think, Adil works so hard. Look at how much water he carries. And it was true. Adil carried a lot of water. But here's what nobody noticed. Adil's bucket had a small crack at the bottom. Not a big one, just a tiny hole that leaked a little bit with every step. When Adil filled his bucket at the well, it was full, 100%. But by the time he walked back to the village, the bucket was only 80% full. 20% had leaked out along the way. Adil would pour the 80% into his storage container. Then he'd go back for another trip, fill the bucket, walk back, lose 20%, pour in 80%, over and over. After 5 trips, Adil had carried 5 full buckets worth of water from the well. But because of the leak, he only actually delivered for buckets worth to his storage. 1 full bucket's worth had dripped away on the paths between the well and home. Adil never fixed the crack. He'd look at it occasionally and think, it's just a small leak. I'm still getting most of the water. It's fine. But it wasn't fine. Week after week, year after year, Adil lost 20% of everything he carried. He worked hard, but the results never matched the effort. His storage container never filled up. His family never had enough. And Adil couldn't understand why. I work harder than almost anyone, Adil would say. I make more trips. I carry more water. Why don't I have more to show for it? The answer was simple. He never fixed the hole. The second brother's name was Tariq. When Tariq started as a water carrier, his bucket also developed a small crack. The same thing that happened to Adil's bucket. But Tariq noticed it immediately. After his first trip, he saw water dripping. He saw the leak. And instead of ignoring it, Tariq stopped working and fixed it. Tariq spent half a day repairing the crack. He sealed it properly, made it waterproof. That was half a day he wasn't making money. Half a day of lost income. It felt like a waste of time. But once the bucket was fixed, everything changed. Now, when Tariq filled his bucket and walked back, he delivered 100%. No leaks. No waste. Every drop he carried actually made it to his storage. Tariq made the same 5 trips as Adil. Same number of walks to the well. Same amount of effort. But Tariq delivered 5 full buckets, while Adil delivered 4. Over a week, Tariq accumulated significantly more water with the same amount of work. Over a month, the difference was huge. Over a year, Tariq had 20% more water than Adil despite working the same amount. 20% doesn't sound like much, but compounded over years, 20% becomes the difference between abundance and scarcity, between security and struggle. After 10 years, both brothers had made the same number of trips. Both had worked equally hard, but Tariq had a full storage system and water to spare. Adil was still struggling, still thirsty, still wondering where all his effort went. One day, exhausted and frustrated, Adil asked Tariq, "We work the same. We carry the same amount. Why do you always have water and I'm always running out?" Tariq showed him his bucket. Perfect. Solid. No cracks. Then he pointed at Adil's bucket. "Still leaking after all these years." Tariq said, "Because I fixed my bucket on day one." "You've been carrying a leaking bucket for 10 years. Adil looked at the crack and said, "But it's such a small leak. It barely drips." Tariq replied, "Small leaks become big losses over time. You've been working hard for 10 years while losing 20% of everything you carry. That's 2 years' worth of work that just dripped away. You worked harder than me and have less to show for it. All because you never fixed the hole." Here's the truth about money that most people ignore. It's not just about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. You can work incredibly hard, make great money, carry full buckets every day. But if your bucket has holes, you'll never accumulate wealth. The money will leak away before you can save it. A deal represents most people. They earn decent income. They work hard, but they have financial leaks everywhere. Subscriptions they forgot about. Unnecessary expenses that seem small. Impulse purchases that add up. Interest on debt. Fees they never check. Each leak seems tiny. It's only $10. It's just a small monthly charge. This little purchase doesn't matter. But small leaks add up to massive losses over time. People like Adil never fix their leaks because each individual leak seems too small to matter. So they just work harder, make more trips, earn more money. But the leaks keep draining everything away. Tariq represents people who build wealth. They find their financial leaks and fix them immediately. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it feels annoying. Yes, it seems like effort spent on something that barely matters. But fixing leaks is how you actually keep what you earn. 20% saved is 20% that compounds. 20% that grows. 20% that builds wealth. Think about your own finances. Where are your leaks? What subscriptions are you paying for but not using? What fees are you accepting without questioning? What small expenses are dripping away every month? Most people have multiple leaks, and they ignore all of them because each one seems too small to fix. But those small leaks combined are stealing a massive percentage of your income. If you earn $50,000 a year, but have 20% in financial leaks, you're giving away $10,000. That's not a small amount. That's life-changing money that's dripping away because you never fix the holes. Adil worked for 10 years and stayed poor. Tariq worked for 10 years and built abundance. Same effort, different buckets. One worked hard with holes. One worked smart with solid buckets. One leaked. One accumulated. Find your leaks. Fix them. Stop letting your hard work drip away. A bucket with holes never fills. Fix the holes first, then carry water. Watch the next one.